What's up, guys? We are back, and oh my goodness, what a treat. We get another Ruse game. Looks like he's playing red again, so he's on top. And it looks like maybe Don is going to be playing a blue-red control deck also. Not quite sure. I think they're probably figuring out which heroes they want to play. Bristle, Axe, and Luna coming out for Don. Legion Commander on the turn and Zeus on the river. For Ruse, he's playing Ogre Magi, Axe, and Centaur. Man, he really likes Centaur. On the turn, he has Kana, and in the river, he has Zeus. So this is the same list he just played. The list he just described as super OP. I can definitely see it. Blue-red is getting a lot of hype from people in the closed beta. Of course, Tabletop Sim has kind of its own meta, so it's a lot smaller group, it seems like, on Tabletop Simulator compared to the closed beta. And Ruse seems to be the one ruling the Tabletop Simulator meta, so we'll see. It's blue-red versus blue-red. Centaur actually is very good against red, just because his signature card, it's not on here, but his signature card is called Double Edge. Double Edge is choose a red hero. It could be an allied hero or an enemy hero that's red. Give that hero +8 attack and -8 armor this turn. So if you use that card to target a red hero who's attacking a creep, that hero will take 8 extra damage from that creep. So the creep could do 10 damage to a red hero. That can pretty much kill anyone except for Axe. So Centaur's card definitely useful against red. Bristle we haven't really talked about yet. He's been pretty well seen so far because he was in the PAX deck. But if you haven't seen him, his passive is after a hero that he's attacking dies, he gets +2 armor. And actually, it doesn't have to be a hero that he's attacking. It's just a hero that's blocking him. So if a hero that is blocking him gets killed in any way besides just him attacking it, he still gets the +2 armor. So if there's a black hero here and they use coup de grace, he'd still get that armor. So very good card there. Let's see what's happening here. Luna went and played Messenger Rookery on lane 2. Choose an ally, choose a combat target for it. So every round, he gets to pick one of his heroes and choose a combat target for it. So that means he's not going to be getting screwed over by RNG from the arrows. And in fact, he takes advantage right away and uses Axe to kill Ogre Magi. So this Messenger Rookery actually comes in a lot of handy already. You don't see a lot of 1-mana spells for blue because they like to control the game until they get to their big late game. But I guess since you are running red-blue, it's useful to use something like this to make sure your big red heroes don't get screwed in the early game. I'm sorry, that wasn't Ruse. That was Don that played that. So maybe Don is running a little bit more of a aggro tempo blue-red than Ruse's. Ruse seems to be running a complete control blue-red. But we'll see. I'm not sure. This one card is not necessarily an indication of the rest of the deck. But again, it is a 1-mana card, so yeah, typically you see bigger cards in blue decks. 6 gold gets spent on 2 cards for Don. That probably means he bought 2. He probably bought a. There's a knife that does +2 attack. Short sword. He might have bought 2 short swords, or he could have bought a short sword and a healing salve, or maybe a short sword and a town portal scroll. Every round you have access to one consumable, one secret shop item, and as many item deck cards that you can buy, although you can only buy one at a time. You don't get to see the whole item deck, so depends what popped up on top. He probably has a consumable and a short sword, I would guess. Ruse did not spend any gold. He doesn't have any gold. Alright, so round 2 over here. Kana pops down in lane 1. Legion Commander also comes down in lane 1, so both players have both a blue and red hero, which means they both have access to their full hand of cards. There are 4 mana here, so I'm not sure what the big 4 mana cards are for blue or red. I think Duel only costs 2 mana, but Duel is a very useful card. And Cunning Plan gets played. Keeping Luna alive, that's very important. Luna, the longer she's alive, the better her signature card gets. She has a passive called Lucent Beam, which is before the action phase. Deal 1 piercing damage to a random enemy and add a charge to each Eclipse card in your hand or deck. Somehow we have access to everyone's cards now. That's interesting. Nice. I just got upgraded, so I can see everything now. That's really cool. Awesome. Alright, so yeah, so if she dies, she's no longer getting this passive Lucent Beam, which is no longer charging up her Eclipse card. And what the charges do is for every charge, she deals 3 damage with Eclipse. So it's very important to keep her alive as long as possible to keep those charges coming. And so that Cunning Plan was able to switch her to stay alive, and it drew her a card. So let's look here at Don's hand. Man, a big hand for him. He's got all his signature cards. Annihilation on round 6. Thunder God's Wrath on round 7. Time of Triumph on round 8. Man, he is ready to go. And he has a duel. He bought a Traveler's Cloak and a Healing Salve, so Traveler's Cloak maybe will help him to keep his fragile blue heroes alive, along with the Healing Salve. Man, just a really good hand there for Don. Let's look at Ruse's hand on the other side. Double Edge, so that's that signature card for Centaur, giving a red hero +8 attack and -8 armor. If he ever sees a red hero versus a creep, I'm sure he'll plop that down. He also has Smash Their Defenses, which is Condemn and Improvement and draw a card. Could be useful against something like Conflagration, which is a 5 cost. So you're basically trading a 3 cost card for a 5 cost card. He's got End 1 for me, which is choose a hero, put a base copy of a random item equipped by that hero into your hand. So that's really good at stealing against black gold decks. You could steal a big late game card that they're able to cheat out early with that. Or if you get a late game card, you can add a copy of it to your hand. So very useful card there, but probably won't be useful till later. He's got 2 Berserker's Calls, which are choose an allied red hero. It battles its enemy neighbors. Its enemy neighbors are the enemy across from it and the 2 enemies next to that. So you have 3 enemy neighbors. So you basically take the damage from all 3 of them simultaneously that you deal damage to all 3 of them. He's got Friendly Fire, which we saw last game, that just chooses 2 enemies and they battle each other. He's also got Thunder God's Wrath and Annihilation, which are 2 very strong control cards. So both players with some very strong hands. Excuse me. Goodness. All right, back to the shopping phase. Man, I have access to see everything now. This is great. A Stonehall Cloak getting purchased here, so Don has a lot of options for keeping his blue heroes alive. His Bristle did get picked off. We didn't get to see how that happened. Both players are getting Zeus coming down. Zeus is going to go to lane 3 for Ruse, choosing to spread his heroes out a bit and also not wanting to face up against Axe. and also lane 3 for Dawn. So 2 Zeuses over there in lane 3. Yeah, I wouldn't want to face Axe either. Ruse, I'm sorry, yeah, Ruse. He wants to avoid cards like Berserker's Call, which could just finish off his Zeus before he gets to play anything. So very smart making him go to lane 3 instead of lane 2. But over here in lane 1, Luna is in a lot of trouble because Ruse can just play Berserker's Call right now and kill her. Let's see if he chooses to do that. Luckily, she does get another charge on Lucent Beam before she dies. But it is mana turn 5. Actually, Berserker's Call costs 6, so she might be able to survive one more turn. Smash their defenses is not going to be that useful either. So, yeah, it looks like Luna, she's probably going to get a Stonehall Cloak on her, maybe even a health pot, so maybe she can survive a couple more turns. Just 1 mana shy for Ruse. Let's see what cards he just drew, by the way. I'm not quite sure what he drew. One Berserker's Call coming out for Dawn, by the way, and a Fly Through the Pain, which is give a red hero +2 armor this round. And get initiative. Ruse is playing some 1 mana cards, which means he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive and tempo-y than Dawn's playing aggressive cards at 1 mana, which means he wants to get the tempo in this game. Yeah, give a red hero +2 armor this round. And get initiative. That's pretty good. Here comes the Stonehall Cloak, as expected. It's going to give +4 health to Luna, and every round it's going to give her 2 more health. So he can also use a mana pot on her to heal 6 more. Or, sorry, a health pot. Or maybe he already used it. I think he used it and we missed it. Oh, this camera keeps fighting me. Yeah, so Ruse definitely a very strong player, knows what he's doing, but he is 1 mana shy of using his big cards. And oh, a duel coming out for Dawn. Dawn definitely has the more aggressive blue-red deck. He's got a lot of 1 and 2 cost cards. But with a lot of small cards, you also are going to want some draw mechanics. So he hasn't gotten any of his draw cards yet. We'll see if he does pull them. He's going to use Duel with Legion Commander along with Double Edge to maybe kill this Axe. Or is... I'm sorry. That actually was Ruse's Double Edge. So he's going to give Legion Commander -8 armor during this duel. I'm not sure if Double Edge happens before or after the duel happens. I think duel is instantaneous, so I'm not sure if this Double Edge can sneak in and modify LC with -8 armor before the duel. Oh my goodness. So the melee creep killed LC there. That's the power of Double Edge, man. You got to be careful when you're fighting a melee creep against a centaur. You just have that potential to just die to a creep. Double Edge just giving your red hero -8 armor. Like, it doesn't matter how much extra attack you have against a melee creep. It's going to die anyway. But with -8 armor, a little flick can just kill your Legion Commander. And that's exactly what happened there. Luckily for Dawn, though, his Luna is still alive and still getting charges on that Lucent Beam. She's been alive through 3 rounds already. Lane 2, not much to see here. 27 damage on the tower. action looks like it's just going to skip all the way to lane 3. And a Ignite is on lane 3, so all 3 of these creeps are going to take 1 piercing damage before anything even happens. Ruse gets the chance to play. They have 5 mana over here. Looks like they're just going to go right ahead to the combat phase. Zeus kills this creep. He moves to 3 health. He gets 1 gold. And then some damage going in on this tower. So it's now at 33. 40 health on tower 2 and 3 for Dawn. And only 33 on tower 1. All 3 of Ruse's towers are slightly damaged. Both players playing red, blue. Turn 6, which is coming up, is going to be really important for both because Berserker's Call comes online, Annihilation comes online, Friendly Fire comes online, all for Ruse. On the other side, also Annihilation, also Berserker's Call, so a lot can happen in round 6 here. And I call it round 6. It's really turn 3, but since you get 6 mana, we call it mana turn 6. It's just easier that way, in my opinion. Centaur coming out for lane 3 for Ruse. 2 melee creeps in lane 2 and Ogre Magi in lane 1. So he is going to split up his heroes and give up on lane 2, it looks like. These 2 melee creeps are going to be able to block. But Axe could just use Berserker's Call to finish off the melee creeps. I definitely would not put Ogre in lane 2 because a Berserker's Call would kill both melee creeps and Ogre. That would be just devastating. But Ruse is going to do it. Maybe he's not expecting Berserker's Call. Or maybe he's planning on using Annihilation in round 2 or in lane 2. It really is going to depend who has initiative. Another Lucent Beam comes out, dealing 1 piercing damage to Axe. Oh, and here comes the Berserker's Call. So Axe battles this melee creep and Luna, killing them both. Alright, so Axe is definitely... Ruse is definitely starting to take over lane 1 here. Lane 2, I wouldn't be surprised if Ruse dropped a... if he dropped an Annihilation, but I believe that Dawn is probably going to use his Berserker's Call first, finishing off Ogre Magi. If he does that, Dawn is definitely going to take control of lane 2, which means that the game is going to come down to lane 3, which is pretty dynamic right now with 2 Zeuses and a Centaur, and 40 health and 33 health. So, but like I said, Ruse has a lot of control options still. This game still has a lot to go. He's definitely going to be able to slow down any aggressive plays that Dawn does in the upcoming rounds. He still has his Annihilation. He still has Thunder God's Wrath next turn. And Friendly Fire if he gets an opportunity to use it. It's a little bit more situational than some of the other cards. And he still has a Berserker's Call. Lots and lots of good options there for Ruse. Dawn, on the other hand... He's got a TP scroll. He's got a big Eclipse. It's been charged up pretty well. He's waiting for round 8 to get his Time of Triumph out. And he also has some good control options with Annihilation and Thunder God's Wrath. So both players with some big round 6, 7, and 8 cards ready to come out. Alright, we pop over here to lane 2. And Berserker's Call, as expected, finishes off this Ogre before he can do anything. Big play there. And he's going to take control of lane 2 here. He's going to deal 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage to this lane 2. And only 16 health remaining on... Looks like 18 health remaining on Ruse's tower there. So, Ruse is probably going to give up on lane 2 now. Lane 1 actually is not as... Ruse doesn't have as big of an advantage in lane 1 as I previously thought. It's 27 to 24, and they both have big red bodies over here. So this lane is definitely contestable for Dawn. Meanwhile, what's happening in lane 3? Ruse gets initiative. He's going to use Berserker's Call on his Centaur to kill both Luna, or sorry, I think he killed a creep and he killed Zeus. So that's actually a pretty significant Berserker's Call there on lane 3. Man, you can see these control cards. Berserker's Call, Thunder God's Wrath, Annihilation, all such powerful, powerful cards that come online round 6, 7, and 8. Really, those are probably the most important rounds in the game with these huge red-blue cards. So we go to the shopping phase. Let's take a look at what Ruse is doing here. Ooh, he's got 2 Vesture of the Tyrants here. How much gold does he have, though? Not enough to get them. But, man, if he could get Vesture, that is such a big item. But he's not going to be able to. Even if he could only get 1, he could get 2 with his and 1 for me card. So he's going to want to do that after he uses Annihilation. Annihilation does give you a big boost of gold because it kills several creeps and several heroes at the same time. Blink Dagger coming out for Dawn here. That can definitely be a useful item, especially on red heroes who can jump around and duel. You could also use it on Luna to get an extra charge on Eclipse. So she could start in lane 1, blink to lane 2, and get 2 charges on Eclipse. Unfortunately for Dawn, though, no blue heroes on the board this round, which means no Thunder God's Wrath, no Annihilation, and no Eclipse. And since it's round 7, I mean, he really wants to use those blue cards. Very good plays there by Ruse. Ruse is a good player who knows the cards. He knows that it's important to remove blue heroes in round 7 and round 6. And he does not have to worry about Annihilation or Thunder God's Wrath right now. That's very, very important. In fact, there's really no good cards here that Dawn can play. And on the other side, man, let's look here. Aghanim's Sanctum is going to help Ruse charge up for the late game. He actually bought a Vesture. I guess I miscounted his gold, but man, he's going to play a Vesture and a end 1 for me. He's going to ramp out of control this turn. Dawn is going to have to watch out. This is crazy. He also can use his Thunder God's Wrath or Annihilation, so definitely Ruse with a big round. He's got to take advantage. Blink Dagger comes down on Legion Commander, enabling her to jump around and maybe duel. It's really important, I think, that he finds a way to kill Kana, but looking at his hand, he doesn't have any duels, he doesn't have any Berserker's Calls, so he's not going to be able to take Kana off the board before she gets a chance to play some of her big cards. Ruse might be worried about a card like Duel or Berserker's Call. He is going to play Friendly Fire, which is, oh my god, what a card right here. It is a bit situational. Sometimes it's hard to find a chance to play it, but right here, 8 damage going on to Legion Commander leaves her at 1. And then 8 damage on the Bristleback leaves him at 2. Now both of these heroes are going to die during the combat phase. Traveler's Cloak gets popped on the Bristle, so Kana can't just finish him off. Town Portal Scroll, another option for keeping one of these heroes up in the next round. He doesn't want to lose all his red heroes because then he can't play any red cards next round, and next round is round 8, which means it's Time of Triumph time. Ooh, here comes the Vesture. +3 armor on Axe and +3 armor on the Tower. Not to mention, Axe now has rapid deployment, which means if he dies, which is kind of hard when he has 5 armor, he's going to come back right away in the next round. Right now, Legion Commander would only be doing 3 damage to Axe. And I don't believe that Don has a way to increase that. Man, this is going to be such a huge round here for Ruse. He just has complete control of the board. And Don definitely has the more aggressive list. He's running 3 red heroes and 2 blue. And you can see he's running some 1-cost spells like Messenger Rookery. But it totally seems like 3 blue heroes and 2 red heroes is much better. You can see how weak this board is for Don with no blue heroes. You definitely need to be running 3 blue heroes so you can get a blue hero on the board to play those big round 6 and 7 spells like Annihilation and Thunder God's Wrath. I mean, these huge cards are completely negated for 2 rounds. That is so good for Ruse. Really important to take blue heroes off the board in round 6. Kana plays an Aghanim Sanctum, which is going to recharge this tower, which means he's also going to get to play an End 1 for me, which means another Vester is going to come down on Kana. I don't see how Don can come back from this game. This might be the most lopsided game of Artifact I've seen so far. Ruse just a completely competent player. Some people are calling him the best tabletop simulator Artifact player. It is a smaller community than the closed beta, but a lot of the guys that play on Tabletop Simulator are guys that want to be streamers or guys that want to be competitive. We're trying to get in on this game early to learn it, so once the beta comes out, we can be super competitive. So when you watch a game on Tabletop Simulator, a lot of the time, it's a good player, and I think Ruse is definitely among the best that I've seen. Definitely knows what he's doing, knows when to attack, who to attack, where to play his cards. This guy knows the game. Alright, so Luna and Zeus finally get to come down. They do have some big spells that are online. Annihilation, Thunder God's Wrath, Eclipse. He needs to figure out a way to use these spells to maximum effect. Or else he's just done. He is still winning lane 2, 9 health on that tower. 31 health on lane 3 and 27 on lane 1. So, but man, Ruse just has all the answers as far as control. Ruse puts his Ogre Magi down on lane 2. He still has Annihilation and Thunder God's Wrath. I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped Annihilation just to slow this lane down. Because that's just going to buy another turn. Just the best control card in the game. Alright, Axe is going to die, but since he has rapid deployment, he comes right back. On the other side, looks like... So, this is Thunder God's Wrath being played by Don, by the way, which finishes off that Axe, the Kana. It actually also kills Zeus. So that was actually a huge Thunder God's Wrath. Very important play there. I mean, he took 3 heroes off the board, including 2 blue heroes. If he can kill Ogre Magi before Ogre Magi plays Annihilation, he's going to have control of the board for 2 rounds because Don's not going to have any blue heroes on the... Sorry, Ruse is not going to have any blue heroes on the board. Now Ruse is going to miss out on his Annihilations for 2 rounds, his Thunder God's Wrath for 2 rounds, and his very important End 1 for me card, which could get him another Vester. In fact, he can't play that anyway because Axe and the Vester are off the board. So, big play there by Zeus. Looks like the action is in lane 2. 27 health left on this tower. So, Don is putting up a fight here. He does potentially have the what it takes to kill lane 1 and 2. But, again, I think Ruse just has a lot of control options. I think Annihilation right here would be really good. By the way, the cards that got drawn for Don are Springtrap, which is summon 2 Centaur Hunters into any lane, and another Time of Triumph. Axe might just want to drop a Time of Triumph on himself because it would kill the tower. It does give you +4 siege. Actually, I'm not sure if it would kill the tower. Oh, maybe action is still in lane 1. It's pretty hard to follow what's going on in Tabletop Simulator. But it looks like they're doing combat here, so this tower's reduced to 16 health. Only 22 though on Don's tower. And Don does have initiative, so he can play. He's going to play Springtrap. Oh, and he's summoning 2 centaurs to lane 2. This is a big mistake because... Oh, good. He's summoning them to lane 3. If he summoned them on lane 2, they would just die immediately to Annihilation. Ruse is actually not going to play Annihilation. He's going to play Prey on the Weak. Summon a Hound of War for every damaged unit. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 damaged units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess there's 5 damaged units. I'm not totally sure, but 5 Hounds of War come out. So he is now blocking Axe and applying pressure to this lane. All these creeps are going to die. So I guess he felt like he didn't have to play Annihilation. And he also probably didn't want to give up all his blue heroes, because that would put all blue heroes in the wait 2 turns to come back. Which means all these cards are wasted. So he's just going to contest this lane and try to keep his Ogre alive. Does he have any defensive cards he can use, though? It looks like Axe is probably going to kill the Ogre anyway. He might want to play the Blink Dagger to get Ogre into maybe lane 3. He doesn't want the Ogre to die, I'll tell you that. It is Ruse's turn. Let's see if he blinks with Ogre. He's going to play Aghanim Sanctum to fully restore the mana on this tower. The thing is, if he blinks away with Ogre, he could potentially lose the lane. Ooh, he plays Thunder God's Wrath. 4 damage on Axe, 4 damage on Zeus, 4 damage on Bristleback. Looks like that'll kill Bristleback. So he gets 5 gold from that. Again, making sure he gets that control out. Here comes the Blink Dagger as expected. He's going to blink Ogre. Maybe he'll blink him to lane 1, maybe to lane 3, but he definitely doesn't want him across from Axe. And let's see here what he chooses to do. Again, Ruse is a better player than me, so whatever he chooses to do, I'm sure is the right call. He's going to go ahead and put him in lane 1. So he's going to have to make sure he gets initiative, or else Zeus could potentially kill him next round. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that. Tazak B. Definitely appreciate it. Alright, so his Ogre goes away. 2 of his Hounds of War die, but he is putting pressure, and this lane is technically still up, so that's actually pretty decent for Ruse. Alright, so over here on lane 4, Ignite comes up, which does 1 piercing damage to all 3 of these. Centaur Hunters have 8 health to start. That's a lot for a creep. These are going to be pretty hard to bring down. So Don definitely putting some pressure and defense up on lane 3 here. He might play Eclipse. He does have that available. He could finish off both Centaur and the Legionnaire with Eclipse. That seems to be his most aggressive play here. Let's see if he does do that. That would negate... Double Edge doesn't really matter, and smash their defenses doesn't really matter. So Centaur doesn't really have anything to play, but it would push more damage through on the tower. It would push an extra 7 damage on the tower and put Centaur back in the come back later category. So even with that extra health, Eclipse is still enough to kill both of these. The Legionnaire does have 2 armor, and Eclipse does, but Eclipse does piercing damage, so it doesn't matter. He could be saving it, I'm not sure. I mean, it would prevent damage on Luna and put damage on the tower, so it seems like a good option, but we'll see. Looks like he's not planning on playing anything. I think he wants initiative. That's a pretty big deal. He really wants initiative in lane 1. He wants to finish off Ogre Magi to just completely negate all the blue cards that Ruse has. He doesn't really care about this Centaur. And the Centaur really isn't that impactful, and 7 damage on the tower isn't super important, so he's willing to take 4 damage on Luna to get initiative. I think that's probably a good call. Again, I'm not the strategy expert in this game yet, but I can see why he chose to do that. He does have some big cards to play. He could play a Eclipse in lane 1 with Zeus. He could play an Annihilation in lane 1 if Axe gets dropped there. So having initiative is pretty important. And we'll see how Ruse decides to play around Annihilation. He probably doesn't want to put Axe in lane 1 just because Don has initiative. But then again, Axe does have Vester, so he is just going to come back next turn anyway. Looks like he's going to play him to lane 2. Just playing around that... initiative plus Annihilation. That's actually going to make the choice pretty hard for Don. What do you do with Zeus here? I assume you play Eclipse, but it's not 100% clear. Ruse here is going to be able to protect his tower, it looks like. A creep will come out to lane 2. Don has not placed his heroes yet, but if he puts Legion Commander in lane 2 and then plays Time of Triumph, he can push that extra damage through. And he does have the blink on LC2, so it's not necessarily making her stuck there. We'll see. We'll see what he chooses to do. That seems to me to be a decent play, but he's going to go ahead and put her in lane 1. He does have 2 Annihilations. So putting her in lane 1, ooh, Axe actually, so Ruse decides to put Axe in lane 1. This is going to be really awkward because Eclipse is not going to be enough to kill Axe and the rest of the stuff. He probably could kill Ogre with it. Let's see. I think with initiative, you have to play a big spell. It's either going to be Time of Triumph or Eclipse. We'll see. On the other side, Ruse drew Thunder God's Wrath and another Friendly Fire. So it's very important here for Don to remove that Ogre. His best bet is Eclipse. Time of Triumph is a good card, but it's a little too slow. He's holding all 3 of his Times of Triumph. Man, he would really like to get them on the board, but it's just been really tough for him. There's so much pressure. Ruse has so much control. I mean, let's see here, because if he doesn't play it, if he does play it, he's going to get annihilated probably. If he plays Eclipse, he's got to just pray that Ogre goes away. And he's going to put his Time of Triumph down. which means, yep, actually Thunder's God's Wrath comes out. Which actually means Zeus is still alive thanks to the +4 health. Thunder God's Wrath is going to kill Luna, which means no blue cards in lane 3. Let's see if LC blinks to lane 2 to play another Time of Triumph. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But if he does do that, he's kind of sacrificing lane 1 here. A lot of damage would go through if he blinks with LC. These lanes, lane 3 and 1 are looking a little awkward here for Don. Both players used a lot of their mana. I don't think they can play any more cards except for items. Don might want to play a Blink Dagger on Zeus just to get some more blue cards out. He could blink to another lane and use Eclipse, especially lane 3. I'm not sure if he'll do that. Or he could blink both heroes to lane 2 to get more Time of Triumph boosts on them. That's kind of a waste, though, because lane 2 only has 2 health left. He is going to put a Stone Hall Cloak onto his Zeus to give him +4 health. Then Double Edge coming out from Ruse, giving LC -8. -8 armor. Just for this round. So she might want to blink away because this, well, actually -8 would only put her at -3, which means this creep is going to do 5 damage to her. That's not enough to kill her. Does Ruse have anything he can combo that with? Not really. It is Don's turn. He does have some items he can play, like Blink Dagger. He could blink LC away. Or he could put a Blink Dagger on Zeus. I think both are good options. Personally, I might... Although he might want to stay here, because right now he's pushing 8 damage onto this tower. He only has 1 mana left. He could play another Messenger Rookery. We'll see here. It looks like he's taking his time to ponder his options. Meanwhile, Don's looking at lane 2, figuring out what he wants to do. Ruse is over here. I'm not sure what he's doing. For those of you guys following on Twitch, my hand is the black hand. Ruse is the red hand. And Don is the green hand. So, Double Edge is getting played onto LC this round, which means even if she blinks to another lane, she's still going to have that -8 armor. So, she's got to be careful where she blinks to. She could just get slaughtered somewhere. He also has initiative, so maybe if he doesn't play anything, he wants to go into lane 2 with initiative. He could just play Time of Triumph just on Axe to kill the tower. And then he can just push lane 1, hoping to win there. 2 blue heroes are coming out for Ruse next round, and he does have 2 annihilations. So it's going to be really hard for Don to win the game next round. This game probably going to last another 2 rounds. Elsie does decide to teleport. She is still getting the -8 armor, which means 7 damage is going to go in from Centaur. Then again, Zeus might blink away. If Zeus blinks away, maybe he could do 27 damage to lane 3. He could use Eclipse to kill Centaur and this creep. And then I think he would have enough damage to kill the tower. So a Time of Triumph on lane 2 and an Eclipse on lane 3 might be enough for Dawn to win the game. Ruse really needs the next round so he can get these blue heroes out and play Annihilation. This is actually a very good play here by Dawn, avoiding Ruse's lane that has the blue hero. That seems to be the key to the game. Avoid blue heroes. Because they can just wreck your day with Condemn and Thunder God's Wrath. Well, I guess you can't run from Thunder God's Wrath. But Annihilation is a card you really have to avoid. Ruse has not played an Annihilation yet, which means he still has 3 in the deck. Dawn has got to know that Ruse is holding at least one of those. I'm really curious to see if he's going to blink away with Zeus. I would think that he would want to do that. Zeus gets a Vester with, I assume that was with and 1 for me. So Ogre now has rapid deployment. So there's really no incentive for Zeus to kill Ogre. Ogre also has a Blink Dagger, so even if Zeus blinks away, Ogre can come use Annihilation. Ooh, and Ogre is going to recover some health. Right now, it seems like Dawn is playing for initiative. So he's going to just let this attack happen. He's going to do 4 damage to the tower with his Siege. Actually, with 2 Vesters here, the tower has +6 armor, so his Siege is not even going to do anything. Maybe he should have blinked away with Zeus, but that would have sacrificed initiative, which again is super important. Lane 2, I'm not sure if he's going to use anything because really it's lane 3 that initiative is important in. He needs to get that Eclipse off in lane 3. But as a consequence, that means he's still not going to win lane 2 this round, which means next round, Ruse can just plop a blue hero down and annihilate this lane. This lane was at 9 health 2 rounds ago, and it's still alive somehow. Ruse just with incredible control, keeping this tower just barely alive. I'm surprised, honestly, that he didn't blink away with Ogre to present some problems for in some other lanes. It's kind of a bluff here from Ruse. He doesn't have any red cards that are going to impact lane 3. So honestly, initiative does not matter for Dawn. He could absolutely use Time of Triumph here in lane 2 on Axe to finish off this tower and sacrifice the initiative in lane 3. That would be the right call if he could see Ruse's hand. But he can't see Ruse's hand, so maybe he thinks that Centaur has something big to play. If he did play Time of Triumph here, he would finish off this tower and he'd have an opportunity to win the game this round. Let's see what he does. He actually is going to put a Blink Dagger on Axe. So he is losing initiative this way. I don't know why he's doing this because he needs to kill this tower before Axe leaves. Maybe he actually, since he didn't blink Zeus to lane 3, he's not going to have 27 damage. So maybe he's just going to blink Zeus to lane 3 and use Time of Triumph in lane 3 to get the damage. He has no longer access to Eclipse in lane 3. So, yeah, I think he definitely should have blinked Zeus over to lane 3 so he could win lane 2 with Time of Triumph and then win lane 3 with Eclipse. Instead, he chooses to leave Zeus in lane 1. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the right call, to be honest. Luckily, his Zeus can annihilate next round. That's pretty important. But so can Kana and Zeus for Ruse. So lots of control happening next round. I think both players are going to be able to keep their towers alive here. What does Don want to do with this axe? Does he want to blink him away or does he want to use Time of Triumph? That is the big question here. He is going to play Time of Triumph, so that means he is going to do that extra 2 damage to this tower. He's going to get that siege through, which means all he has to do now is win lane 3. I don't think there's a way for him to do it immediately. He does have a duel, though. He could duel this centaur. That would be 12... 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Still not enough. Yeah, he's actually going to Time of Triumph and blink to lane 3. Don, you forgot to finish off the tower. There's still 2 health here. He maybe is hoping to draw Bolt of Damocles. And then round 10 he can plop Luna down in lane 2 and finish it off. Not quite sure. Ruse still does have the tools to keep this tower alive, even at 2 health. The text of empowerment on the 3rd line. I'm sorry, which on... I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Oh, the improvement? Yeah, here we go. Ignite. Deal 1 piercing damage to each enemy unit before the action phase. That's the improvement on lane 3. So all of these guys are going to take 1 piercing damage. Okay, duel coming down on lane 3. That's going to finish off Centaur. 5 gold for Don. Now he does have enough damage to kill this tower, but it's not going to finish the game. Yeah, no problem, Victor. Fight through the pain. Give a red hero +2 armor this round. Not sure why he needs that, but plenty of damage going through. And here's the Ancient for lane 3. Alright, 1 lane down. 1 lane with 2 health. Ruse living on the edge here. Of course, these Blink Daggers are down for another round. Bristleback coming up. I'm sure he's going to be plopped down into lane 2. But all Ruse has to do is put 1 blue hero in lane 2, and he can use Annihilation. So, initiative super important here. It'll be interesting to see which player gets initiative heading into lane 2. Unfortunately for Don, he doesn't really have a way to prevent Annihilation from coming out in lane 2. Because he has no way to pick off any of the blue heroes that are coming out. You can see Ruse is going to go ahead and place Kana in lane 2 and Zeus in lane 1. Ruse does have initiative, so he's probably going to play Friendly Fire if Don puts his Bristle in lane 1. Of course, I definitely think Bristle's going to lane 2. Yep. So Bristle will show up in lane 2, and he's probably going to get annihilated. I think Ruse probably just passes in lane 1. there's really no reason for Ruse to get rid of initiative. He really just needs that Annihilate in lane 2. There was a duel played, so Ruse does have to worry about another duel, but really that's his only worry. Potentially Don could Time of Triumph and duel Kana to finish her off. Alright, actually, so Don is going to play Annihilation, which sends Zeus and Ogre back to the next round block, which means those two heroes will not be available for 2 rounds. Actually, a correction to that, Ogre, since he has Vester, will be back next round. So that Vester is just such a good late game card. Lane 1 completely empty. Lane 2, Ruse has initiative. He's going to use his Annihilation. Lane 2 gets wiped. Lane 3, Don now has initiative. I don't think he wants to give up initiative here. He could play Time of Triumph. Maybe that is the right play, actually. It would give another 4 attack to both LC and Axe, so that's another 8 attack on this tower. Right now the tower's taking 12, 14, 18, 22, 35. So the tower is now going to be taking 43. So the clock is on for Ruse. He needs to either come to lane 3 and play an Annihilation, which he can do, by the way. He has another Annihilation. Or he has to win the other 2 lanes at 13 and 32 health. Oh, right. Fight Through the Pain guarantees you initiative. So he was able to use that initiative to get his Annihilation off first. So thank you for that, Silver. Good call there. All right. He is giving up initiative by playing that Time of Triumph here. 37 health left. That's a pretty healthy tower if this lane gets annihilated. Luna's going to come out probably onto lane 2. But, man, look over here. Centaur, Axe, and Ogre all coming online. He's probably going to drop Ogre onto lane 3 to use that other Annihilation. And then he's probably going to drop Axe or Centaur, it really doesn't matter which, onto lane 2 to prevent Luna from winning the game. Hold that thought. A Town Portal Scroll gets used on Axe. I guess Don doesn't feel like he needs that extra Axe damage in lane 3. He's probably going to put Axe on lane 2 now to try to win the game there. This is kind of tough. This is actually really tricky. Where do these heroes go? You can see Ruse putting 2 on lane 1. He really wants to finish this tower off and prevent Don from putting his heroes on lane 1. He does put Centaur on lane 2, but man, lane 2 is a little bit vulnerable with no blue heroes going there. Berserker's Call available for Centaur. That might not be enough, though. If Axe goes to lane 2, I think this could be trouble. Actually, there is a Blink Dagger available for Ogre. So, really putting Ogre on lane 1 does not commit him to that lane. You can always just blink him to another lane to play Annihilation, so Ruse will probably take advantage of that. Axe goes to lane 1 also. Luna, where are you going? This is a tough call because he wants to get that 2 damage on lane 2, but he doesn't want to get annihilated. He does have his own Vester on Axe. This is a very, very tricky situation here. He looks like he's going to go with both heroes in lane 1. And Ruse is going to stick with Axe and Ogre in lane 1 and Centaur in lane 2. But like I said, since Ogre has Blink, it's not really committed. Alright, so initiative, I believe, is Ruse's. Ruse does have another Vester in hand. Holy cow. He also has Annihilation and Friendly Fire, so lots of control options there. He needs to kill Axe, which means he needs to blink Ogre to lane 2. But, you know, he can also play Conflagration into lane 3 to slow down these Centaur Hunters. Conflagration would actually prevent a lot of damage going into his Ancient. So yeah, he's definitely going to have to blink Ogre to lane 2 this turn. Yep, and here he comes. That's an easy choice for him. He's definitely going to annihilate. But look over here. Don has initiative and he has Berserker's Call. Is that enough? 17? That's actually enough to kill Ogre. Alright. Ruse plays Smash through their defenses first. Looks like he took back that blink. He's not quite ready to commit Ogre to lane 2 yet. He's going to have to do it eventually. Oh, he's actually... First he's going to play Eclipse, and then he's going to blink Over, I guess. Or maybe this is... I can't tell if this is Don's or Ruse's. If Don finishes off Ogre Magi, this game might be over. Not sure what's happening here. I think the game is over and they're talking about what happened. Let me try to let me ask Ruse what's happening. Oh, Ruse actually lost. Man, Don put up such a good fight. Okay, so Ruse says he lost to the Siege middle. He wasn't able to get Ogre over there and play Annihilation. So, man, initiative matters so much in this game. And wow, man, Ruse had all these control cards, but his 2 blue heroes just getting continually cycled to the next round pile really slowed him down enough that Don's 3 red hero, more aggressive blue-red deck was able to win early. And that's the trick when you have less blue heroes. You're trying to win earlier. Of course, this game did last 11 rounds, which is a lot for this game. Usually by round 10, the game's over, but both of these players are playing red-blue control, which means it's going to be a little bit slower of a game. And you can see they both had a lot of control options, and they both got some big red cards in Time of Triumph. That is such a huge card, adding 4 siege to every hero. Very well played by Don there. Able to take down the person that is considered the best tabletop simulator artifact player in Ruse. So, really good game here. This is going to be the last game I stream today. I have my stream schedule up for the rest of the week. I'll be streaming on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. We say mana round 11, which really is round 9 or 8. You start at 3 mana, so it's really round 8. But it's just easier to call it round 11 because you have 11 mana. But yeah, anyway, if you like this kind of content, feel free to follow me so you can get some updates. I also have a Facebook page right down here under the stream. So I post my schedule there. I post updates about when I'm streaming. Sometimes I'll do an impromptu stream, so you'll find that in the Facebook page. I have a Twitter, which I will announce when I'm streaming on Twitter. You can also find that below. Or you could just follow on Twitch. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys watching. I really enjoy having a active chat. It's really great. I really am enjoying this artifact game. I think it's going to be really cool. And so, yeah, if you're interested, follow me, or you could just check out my schedule. I'll be back Sunday morning at 9 for some more artifact. So until then, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it and hope to see you again. So you all have a great day. Take it easy.